Hey everyone and welcome back. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a few things. There's a few things to cover, recent news, important news, and it's not really, worthy of one video. So I just feel like I'll just kind of get it all out of the way and just talk about sort of a lot of things all at once. First thing is obviously the Sampdoria victory we just got yesterday, last night. It was a good victory, a very solid victory. You take a 1-0 where it comes. Obviously, you want to see more goals, but that will come with time. There's clearly some movements in the final phases of the attack that need to be, clinked out. Giroud's new to the side. Brahim Diaz has got a lot more trust in his position now. So, it's not to say we didn't have chances. We had lots of chances to make it 2-0, 3-0. I was very impressed how we were defensively. Solid performances from players like Fikayo Tomori, Kaya. Obviously, Mike Mignon got a clean sheet on his first game, so we can't really ask for more. That's fantastic for him, fantastic for his confidence. The captain, Davide Calabria, a great game. Obviously got an assist for himself. First time he was given that captain's armband because of Romagnoli was missing, and obviously that would probably go to players like Ibrahimovic or even potentially Kessie. So it's good to see Calabria given that trust, or Donnarumma last season as well. But yeah, Calabria's given that trust now, and he looked good. He looked good in his performances. If there's anyone else who can really talk about from the game, Sandro Tonali had a solid game under his belt in defensive midfield. It was quite an odd one because there were certain moments where Rade Krunic was playing deeper, and you kind of think that it'll be the Tonali. It's job to do that, and Krunic can play a little bit more advanced in this sort of double pivot midfield position, but obviously they were trying to rotate that to keep Sampdoria's press guessing. Krunic as well, going into that game we were slightly worried that why was he starting over Benacer, even though Benacer was deemed as not 100% fit. Why didn't we start Benacer first and then play Krunic off the bench if we were, say, like winning by a good margin? Obviously it's worked out in this game, but going forward we kind of want a bit more depth, and that's obviously we're going to come on to a player like that who might be coming in this week. And other than that, really, Brahim Diaz got his first goal as the new number 10 for Milan. Giroud had a solid game. He looked hungry, he looked energized. It goes to show you the difference it makes having a proper centre forward in that position, especially when Ibra's out. Mandzukic, bless him, he just couldn't quite get there with his fitness and his positional play last year. He just looked completely out of it. So Giroud looks like just a completely different player in that position. So hopefully, 15 goals from this season would be a reasonable tally and quite achievable. So hopefully his first goal comes on the weekend against Cagliari. Other than that, really, Rafael Leao, solid game. I felt he looked a lot more confident. He was doing the simple things right, which I have to give him praise for. And he looked alright. He could have got a goal himself earlier on into the game when he lashed that left foot shot. But it was wonderfully saved. And Salamakers as well, solid on the right position. We saw a debut for Florenzi as well. We had a sort of a cameo last 10 minutes as well. It was a solid performance all round. The clean sheet's important. Obviously, running the back of last season, we got 5 clean sheets towards the end there, so we're now 6 clean sheets on the trot. It's good. It's confident. We need to build on this. A solid victory, hopefully, against Cagliari to make amends for the draw we got last season. Hopefully, some more goals as well. Keep another clean sheet. There's a lot of important factors this Sunday against Cagliari going into the international break, where we're going to see a lot more tougher games coming after that. Lazio, Juventus, and we're going to hopefully welcome back players like Kessie, Ibrahimovic, Benacer will be playing from the first minute, and hopefully some new additions and signings. So who are those new signings going to be? And as of making this video, it's not yet official, but it nearly is. But we're about to sign on loan with a right to buy. We love that sort of transfer formula. Pietro Pellegrini. It's a bit of a tongue twister because I'm not great with my P's. But so Pellegrini is coming. It's a solid sign. And we talked about having... Well, I spoke last week in the whole 4-4-2 idea that we need a third centre forward to come on in case, obviously, we want to rotate with those 2 strikers if Ibra and Giroud play at the same time. Obviously, Ibra's got his injuries anyway, so if you do can carry on with this 4-2-3-1 formation, we do need a backup when Ibra's injured. And a young profile is the ideal sort of formula, the ideal model. We could have kept Colombo, but at the same time, Colombo's quite green with his experience at a high level. Pellegrini's now played, obviously, with Genoa, a few years at Monaco. So he has something to offer as a centre forward. There are obviously injury concerns in itself. But to be honest, it's a solid signing. I like it. It will scope under the radar as a low risk deal, high reward if it does work out this season and we do buy him outright next summer for low amounts. We have to think back that we were linked with this player quite a few years back when he was at Genoa. and I think they wanted around like 60 million euros for him. So it's staggering now that we could potentially buy this player next summer for around 8 to 7 million euros. It's just completely fall from grace, but we move. Other than that, really, there is Bakayoko, who is very close to coming back. Well, kind of coming back, but anyway, coming back to the club on a sort of, I'm thinking it's a loan deal because that's the typical formula we're going for these days. And that's obviously going to reimburse and bolster the midfield department. We've spoken about it many times that Benacer and Kessie are going to be missing from the African Cup of Nations in January. We saw it last night as well, having to start Krunic next to Tonali isn't the ideal sort of partnership we want there. So we want someone who's a more accustomed to the defensive midfield double pivot position, and that's Bakayoko. Fantastic with interceptions, great in the air, defensively very good, can drive the ball forward a little bit, so it will take him a bit of time to regain his confidence in the first team and how we play as a team. So I wouldn't sort of judge him on the first few games yet, but I still think it's a great sign and a great pickup for depth. Has great Champions League experience, Monaco, Chelsea. So yeah, I like the pickup. I do like the pickup, but obviously, other than that, I'm hoping with a week left of the window, we will be getting that attacking midfielder, right winger player in. Don't know who that's going to be. Names are coming out every day. I read today that Bernardo Silva's allegedly agreed terms, but I take that with a pinch of salt. But at the same time, I take news like Messias, I can't pronounce his name, from Crotone. Even potential talks with him. So there's on both ends of the spectrum, you get really like sort of deals you can get completely hyped up for, and deals you're just thinking like, no, we just do not want that player. So just kind of like wait and see what happens there. I just really hope a name comes through the door who is of good quality to add to this squad that allows us to really cool off the bench in certain games, and we can sort of, change the game or see out a game or something like that. Someone who offers something a bit different to Salamakers, and obviously a lot more better than Samuel Castillo. Okay, so this is the bit I didn't really want to talk about, but I feel like we have to talk about because I'm personally quite concerned. And I don't know if I'm overreacting right now, but I guess we've seen it happen in the past recently. Franck Kessie. I'm really concerned of how this is going to end up. At the start, if you told me to start the summer or end of last season, would the contract get renewed? Easily. I'll tell you saying like, yes, midsummer, it'll be done. We're getting towards the end of the window. The contract's not been renewed. I understand that Maldini's been working on transfers and dipping his toe in, working this negotiation out at the same time. But he really needs to get this sorted. His comments that he made prior to the Sampdoria game, where he mentions about like a sustainable project and that we've paid for scenarios where we've overpaid players in the past regarding transfers and, contractual fees and whatnot. I get that. I do really get that, but if there's one player you make an exception for, that's Franck Kessie. We're talking about a guy who's 50 plus appearances last season, double digits of goals, took over the penalty reins when Ibra was missing them or hitting the post. He's fantastic. He was the MVP last year, taking a ball in the corner against Atalanta. He got us into the Champions League. Obviously I know it's a team effort, but that last game where we all writ it off, near enough wrote us off. He got us there. 2 penalties and a 10 out of 10 performance. We couldn't be talking about the transfer window we just had if it weren't for players like him last season, or more specifically in that performance. He deserves the money he's asking for. And whether it's like 7 mil, I know we're a couple mil off, just incorporate it in some sort of way of bonuses. And I understand that he was on 2.5 and the whole thing is like, we're offering slightly more than double than what he was on. So if we're offering 5 or 5.5 per year, make the exception because he's worth it. And you know what you're going to get from him. And he's a symbol of like professionalism at the highest level, quality that the other players can aspire to. They won't be looking at him going, why is he on that money? They know why he's on that money. He's the fucking president. Like, we all love him. I'm pretty sure every player at the club loves him, purely loves him. He'd probably adopt him if he could. It's not a thing to attack Maldini, because I understand that he's working with the parameters that are set. He mentioned this as well, that it's kind of, if you read between the lines in the interview that he had last night, that there are parameters clearly set for him that he has to follow financially with transfers and contracts that he can't quite go over. I get that, but it's just like, come on, man, this is Kessie. I understood the Donnarumma situation. I don't think anything would have been enough for him, to be honest, and the agent is just toxic. Çalhanoğlu, I'm actually happy. I'm happy how that worked out, because if we were going to keep him for that money he was on, I feel like he would have been overpaying for a very inconsistent player. But Kessie's something else. We need to find a way to get this negotiation done, and hope, you never know. I'll get this video released and it's been renewed, but I doubt that's the case. But I just don't want to go into next season with his, last season contract lingering. We've seen it too before too much last season. I'm really concerned how this could end up. Obviously, there are clubs in the Premier League who will easily offer him more money. Tottenham Hotspurs are offering about 8 million a year. Yeah, it's concerning. It's concerning, but I just want to see us get this over the line. It's kind of annoying at the same time, because it kind of, especially after the performance last night with Sampdoria, it kind of like mars that, and it's just lingering over my head that this has happened. This has gone to this point, but hopefully I might just be overthinking things. That's where you guys need to come in the comment section and tell me to shut up. That would be amazing if you can. I'm hoping I'm overthinking it, and I'm confident it's going to get done. There's a lot of confidence around it, but it's going to get to the point where does confidence kind of get into sort of complacency? I'm split down the middle right now. I'm just not sure yet, and I'm just hoping it's because Maldini's been so focused on transfers, he's not been able to sort of like lock down the negotiations. And also, don't believe everything you read. There was a report that came out from Goal about allegedly his agent saying that Kessie has the knife or something like that. He has the power in this negotiations. Apparently, that's not even his agent anymore. That was his old agent, and that was also an old interview from like last year or something. So don't believe everything you read, but I've just got this sort of like feeling lingering around my head about that. I'm just concerned because I really want to get this contract renewal done, and he's someone who deserves it. Romagnoli, I can understand. Ideally you want to get both of those renewals done ASAP, but Kessie is the priority. He is the priority, because I just have concern that if we can't get this one done, what's the long-term future for any renewal that we have for any player? Players that take us from being an average side to much more better. Theo Hernandez, Benacer. And I understand we don't want players that are going to take the piss, and obviously ask for more than what they're worth. And that's where you take that stance, and you tell players like Hakan Çalhanoğlu, go find that money elsewhere, and we'll find something. We'll find replacements for you. I'm confident with that. But players like Kessie, you just can't find like that, especially someone who had a performance like he had last season. You reward that. And that's my sort of philosophy on that. So guys, I want to hear your feedback on what you think about the whole Kessie renewal thing. Am I overreacting? Do you feel like it's going to get done pretty soon? So whack that in the comment section below. Other than that, guys, I'm going to finish up with just a bit of like an off-topic thing, because I've been doing videos, I think now since like January. And obviously I've jumped on Sempre Milan shortly after that. I have to say, I'm just really happy with the feedback I constantly get from you guys, whether it's people that follow through Twitter. And to be honest, I wouldn't have gotten that sort of audience if it weren't for jumping on Sempre Milan, and so I have to sort of thank the channel. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Please follow Sempre Milan TV on Twitter if you have that, all the sort of social medias. sempremilan.com if you can. I'm thankful for you guys out there. I'm thankful for this channel to allow me to give you this portal to speak to you guys, because it's great, because as a fan it allows me to get certain things off my chest, and I feel like the feedback is just fantastic to get back from you guys. And how am I able to communicate with you guys, whether it's in the comment section here, or it's on Twitter, or any sort of way, on Instagram and stuff like that. It's great to really open my world up, as to like the Milan fan following. So I'm really thankful for that, guys. So that's my soppy part of the video done. I'm going to end up by saying hopefully a nice solid win against Cagliari next weekend. I want to see goals. I want to see a clean sheet. And as always, I just want to see a win. So until next time, guys, Forza Milan.